dealing with imaginary things like Antifa, with imaginary Antifa.
I mean, I can't believe the chairman of the Judiciary Committee would utter such a statement on the House floor, but he said imaginary things like Antifa. They're not imaginary, they're real. And if you don't believe me, go talk to Portland, the journalist, Andy No, and the journalist in Portland who was attacked by Antifa, who the President of the United States designated as a terrorist organization, and to have the chair of the Judiciary Committee on the House floor say this sentence, imaginary things like, or these words, not a sentence, imaginary things like Antifa, they are far from imaginary.
That this guy is minimizing violent fascists. And that's what, I mean, that's how I feel about this. When you're trying to enforce your own ideology on other people and you have no tolerance for anybody with a differing opinion, particularly journalists, that is fascism. It's so ironic to call yourself an anti-fascist when you're literally enforcing your own particular ideology to the point of violence, and you're wearing masks and you're running around hitting people and pretending that you're being inundated with Nazis and white supremacists and that this is all necessary. Like that old man that was just driving and they're directing traffic and forcing him to obey them. And then when he doesn't want to, they chase after him and assault him. Your mindset is the problem. It's not whether or not there should be white supremacy. Of course there shouldn't be. It's not whether or not there shouldn't be people be able to freely express themselves. Of course there should be. That is not what the issue is. What the issue is group mob mentality. When you get people together and you let them wear masks and you tell them that they're fighting against some evil, and then they feel justified in hitting a person like you. It is really sickening. And there's this diffusion of responsibility thing that happens when one person hits you and everybody feels like it's okay to hit you. It's a mob mentality thing, and it is extremely common with human beings.
They believe it is moral to lie.
Yes.
I say they as in the whatever this more vocal and dominating faction on the left is, you know, the Antifa types, the regressive, whatever you want to call them, they believe by any means necessary, even if it means hurting innocent people. They don't care. And so we don't agree on what is moral now.
Somebody from the Antifa side just threw an M80 into the crowd. During the fighting, there was about 7 M80s thrown into the crowd from the Antifa side. One of them landed next to an old woman who fell down trying to get away from it. I'm wondering if you or I know you don't speak for the entire group, but do you condemn the throwing of fireworks at people?
Well, the revolution isn't fucking easy. I mean, I got kneed in the face, pepper sprayed in the eye, and some guy tried.
Hey, DMX.
Yes, the bang it out word
that
spoken by Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yes.
I have a hammer.
Hey, no hammers!
No hammers? No hammers,
Who has
bro.
to say that?
Look at this.
Oh, damn.
They're just. This is the guy they're going after. He throws one guy down. That guy isn't even that problem.
You guys gotta move.
Completely unconscious. Right. Before we get into the metadata, I guess, I don't know if that really applies in this context, but
maybe.
We personally infiltrated Antifa, and they were handing out knives, brought sawed-off shotguns. We're talking about shooting people at a Ben Shapiro protest, and by the way, our footage led to some arrests.
You're gonna take the knife. How much?
Jeez.
I have on the border between just a regular rifle and assault weapons.
What does that mean?
Right. Style.
And then I've got a handgun.
And there are people in every major city in this country who know that, and yet the chair of the Judiciary Committee just made that statement. That is scary. So when we say we weren't consulted and they didn't talk about it, when you have that kind of attitude, we had good, thoughtful amendments in that committee. No, we can't deal with it because their attitude is Antifa's imaginary. It is far from that. And go ask that journalist in Portland just a year ago was beaten up by these individuals. That is ridiculous.
Imaginary Antifa, imaginary Antifa.